Info Hub. In our headlines, another Luzignan escapee has been recaptured in Linden, Guyana Lands and Survey gets help to build capacity, Princeville Nursery benefit from child-friendly classrooms, and the forestry sector continues to stand strong despite many challenges. Another fugitive has been captured in Riz Rock in Linden as the joint services continue their intensive manhunt for the prison escapees. Paul McAdam has the details.
Kendall Skeet is the latest escapee to be caught by law enforcement authorities. Skeet was captured in the Riz Rock housing scheme in Linden around 11:15 this morning. Winston Long and Tishon McKenzie, Jason Howard and Jamal Joseph were apprehended in Georgetown on Monday. Rayon Jones, Jamal Ford and Odell Roberts were captured at Agriculture Road in Monrepo on the east coast of Demerara on Monday evening. These are 8 of the 13 that tunneled out of the initial holding area at Luzignan Prison early Monday morning. The Guyana Police Force is also appealing to members of the public, relatives and friends to give any relevant information about the escapees to authorities. An appeal is also being made to the escapees to surrender to the police or relevant authorities to avoid any serious confrontation that is likely to result in the use of force. The joint services remain on high alert and have increased their presence in communities and backland areas along the coast. Clive Ford, called Helsinki, Paul Goria, Sean Harris, called Shawnee, Pascal Smith, Kerry Cromwell, Mark Royden Durant, called Royden Williams, and Smalley, Stay Free Alexander Hopkinson, Yuri Varswick, called Malcolm Gordon, and Corbin Stevens, called OJ, are wanted by the police for questioning in relation to escaping from lawful custody from the Georgetown and Luzignan prisons. Anyone with information is asked to contact the police on telephone numbers 225-6411, 225-8196, 225-2227, 227-1149, 226-7065, 911, or the nearest police station. Paul McAdam for Info Hub.
A British mapping company wants to help build the capacity of the Guyana Lands and Surveys Commission. Here is more from Tiffany Rodius.
Experienced in mapping since 1971, the Ordnance Survey Company met with the Minister of State, Joseph Harmon, today. Operations Director Malcolm Havercroft said studies have shown that effective mapping can positively impact the country's gross domestic product.
Between 13 to 15% of GDP is dependent, relies in some way on good geographic mapping of its country. So I think that will be one of the positive benefits that will come out of any collaboration that we enter into with the Lands and Surveys Commission.
Minister Harmon said he is delighted to have the company collaborate with the Guyana Lands and Surveys Commission since Guyana is challenged with a number of issues such as land distribution.
This project would put us in a better position to be able to, first of all, understand the stock of land that we have. What is private land, what is state land, what is government lands. And so we get a better feel, a better understanding of where we are with that and how do we proceed with it.
The government has begun taking the necessary steps in building the capacity of the Lands and Surveys Commission.
What we've been able to do over the last year or so is to focus on building the human capacity in the Lands and Surveys Commission, and not just at the top level, but at several levels going down. It's a work in progress, and I think that with the new direction which the board is giving and that the administration of the Lands and Surveys Commission that they are taking, that I see that the Commission will eventually move to that point where they're independent.
Minister Harmon said the government will support the company's efforts as it can help Guyana's development. For Info Hub, Tiffany Rogers.
Tiffany Rogers joins us again and tells us that the forestry sector continues to stand strong despite many challenges.
Guyana's forestry sector brought in an estimated US $19 million in the first half of 2017.
Insofar as the forestry is concerned, that again is going relatively well, and we are on target to bring in good earnings from foreign exchange.
The forestry sector's performance is less compared to previous years. It was explained that this was because it was mostly one company exporting logs. That company no longer operates in the sector.
The emphasis now is more on sustainable development, sustainable use of our forests. So Guyanese can expect less logs being shipped out.
The Ministry of Natural Resources is encouraging more value-added production in the sector. Consultations are underway to finalize the National Forest Policy and Statement to help better policy formulation for the sector. Efforts are also ongoing to finalize the voluntary partnership agreement with the EU by the end of the year, that is the EU FLECT. This would allow for greater access into European markets. For InfoHub, Tiffany Rogers.
A local coconut processing company has come in for high praise from Go Invest. Gabriela Patram tells us why.
Go Invest Deputy Chief Executive Officer Natalia C. Prasad conducted a site visit of the Precision Global Incorporated facility located at Marudi on the Sioux Lake Linden Highway on Tuesday.
They have a project here that's sustainable, that's going to bring a lot of development to the area. It's going to employ approximately 140 people initially. And they are not only looking at using the raw coconut product, they're looking at value added. They are looking towards the local market as well as exporting. I think it's one of these facilities where, as Guyanese, we can all be proud of.
Vice President of Operations Robin Baldrit explained that the company will source coconuts from Pomeroon, Essequibo, and Berbice farmers. The factory can process 100,000 coconuts per day, supplying local and international markets.
The products that we will be producing and starting with is to make coconut oil, cold press. We will have desiccated coconut and coconut flour. We also utilizing the other parts of the coconut, the shell, to make coconut shell charcoal and coconut shell briquettes. Our product, we intend to sell to the local market and overseas market. We also like to say that over the past years, we've worked very closely with Go Invest, who give a lot of support and guidance for investment in Guyana.
Operations are expected to start in the next 6 months, with mostly local employees being hired. 60 persons are needed each shift to prepare coconuts for processing. The first product of the multi-million-dollar investment is expected to be launched in January of 2018 under the line Only Coconut. DPI InfoHub, Gabriela Patram.
The Ministry of Agriculture has begun to implement the first component of the Sustainable Agriculture Development Program. More on this report from Neola Damon.
The US $50 million project caters for increasing agriculture productivity in the hinterland region. The project has 3 components. Component 1 focuses on generating information for evidence-based policy making.
We are at a stage now where those studies would have already been conducted. We have identified the sites where the Ministries of Agriculture station would be located. And of course, at Ibini is where the Ministry of Agriculture station would be located. At this time, work is ongoing, has started. A lot of it will involve initially a lot of rehabilitative works, especially at Ibini. We have already developed a program for the research component, which we have targeted a number of crops as well as livestock. In the Rupununi, the crops that we would have targeted include cassava, peanuts, and orchard crops. Whereas in the Ibini area, we are looking at orchards, cattle, as well as corn and soybean in those areas.
Component 2 of SADP focuses on strengthening the agriculture innovation and extension systems. And Component 3 will focus on giving support for compliance with sanitary and phytosanitary standards. The project has a 5-year deadline and is set to benefit over 2,900 households in regions 5, 9, and 10. Neola Damon, InfoHub.
Teachers and students of Princeville Nursery in Region 8 have benefited from the setting up of child-friendly classrooms. Here is more from Zenil Williams.
The works were carried out by the recently appointed district education officers during their cadet training. In order to be a certified DEO, the 25 officers underwent a 2-year training program. DEO Sherwin Blackman explained that during a visit to the village in October 2016, it was clear that the learning environment could be improved.
The environment was one that suggested that the children were in great need. They were extremely willing in terms of longing for an education, longing for an environment which speaks to definitely lending itself to an improved education for a child. Our work directly at Princeville was really more in terms of just capacity building for the teachers, and we also actually adopted the school as a way of us being able to provide what other additional support we can provide to them from the Georgetown location.
DEO Lashana Anderson, part of the second team of 3 officers that visited the area, said due to more manpower, they were able to do more.
We had more manpower to get work done. They briefed us about what some of the challenges were, so we were aware of areas that we needed to focus. We were able to really transform the physical space at Princeville. The nursery class had like approximately 15 children, and they were all seated around one table.
The head teacher's office was rearranged and national leaders displayed along with the school's motto.
When we were through with doing all of that, the euphoria, the excitement in the school, the teachers could not contain the other levels because all of them gravitated to the space.
These works are part of the Education Ministry's efforts to improve the delivery of education in Guyana. Zenil Williams for InfoHub.
And finally, Zenil Williams tells us that the U.S. Youth Action Network and Youth Ambassadors 2015 hosted a youth exposition and volunteer fair at the Humaniana.
6 Guyanese secondary school students completed the annual 3-week Youth Ambassadors program back in 2015, which was hosted by the United States government.
My team and I came back home inspired. We were educated, we were given skills and knowledge, and we were inspired to impact change in Guyana.
They have since implemented 4 projects locally. The first was the Student Development Program, which was rolled out at Hope Secondary School and West Demerara Secondary. There was the Opt for Youth Summer Program in August 2016, where 35 young Guyanese benefited. The third was the Emerging Leaders of Guyana program, which sought to bridge the gap between high school students and tertiary students. The Youth Exposition and Volunteer Fair, the 4th project, seeks to share volunteer groups' work. United States Ambassador Perry Holloway said,
"Volunteerism offers immense value to your country's economic output. The U.S. Embassy will continue to play our part to empower young people through our youth development initiatives, such as the Youth Ambassadors Project, the Youth Action Network, and the Youth Empowerment Services, or YES program."
Math Guru is one group which helps students with one-on-one sessions and a mathematics app for cell phones.
Maths is very important to the development of society. If you look from the age of enlightenment in the 15th century, coming up all the way to the Industrial Revolution, it was mathematic principles that led to the development of the world that we live in, the technological world that we live in here today. So maths is very important. So we need that foundation in our students. Remember, with the discovery of oil, great things are ahead, so we need persons to be more innovative, and math lays a great foundation for that.
Zenil Williams for InfoHub.
Thanks for watching. Connect with us 24/7 on our website and social media.